In this video, I'm going over still working with our circle equation. Notice we also have up here the reminder of our standard form of our circle equation where HK represents the center, R represents the radius, and XY represents a point on the circle. However, now notice we are not in standard form. So we're going to have to take these equations here today and rewrite them in standard form. Now, the only way that we're going to be able to do this is we're going to do that good old what's called completing the square. So I'm going to go through that reminder on how to use this method when factoring. Just remember, the end result is getting to our standard form so that we can identify the center, the radius, and the diameter. So the first thing we're going to do is let's go ahead. Now notice, see how here we need to be equal to like our constant, our value. So notice our equation is already equal to 10. Notice on the left side, all we have are our variables, right? X and Y. So let's go ahead and group. So here I've got x squared plus 2x. Now leave the blank for when we complete the square. Leave a space here. Then plus y squared plus 12y. Then again, leave a space here for completing the square is equal to 10. So now if you don't remember when completing the square, we always take what's called our b term. So remember, our format for our quadratic is ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. So b is that middle term here, right? The coefficient of x. So notice our b here is 2 and 12. So we're going to go through the process of taking our b. We're going to half it and square it. That is the value that goes here when we complete the square. So b in this case is 2, right? So we're going to half 2. So here, I'll write it out for this one. We're going to half 2 and then square it. Well, half is 1. 1 squared is 1. So we're going to add 1. Now, keep in mind, right, we have an equation. So we have to keep it balanced. So whatever we do to one side, don't forget to also perform to the other side. Oop, we don't have plus 11. Sorry about that. We have plus 1. So then same thing here. Our b in this case was 12, right? So 12, we're going to half it and square it. Half of 12 is 6. 6 squared is 36. So here we're going to add 36. But then don't forget, right? We're going to keep it balanced. Add 36 here. So now we're going to be able to complete our square. Because remember, right, in the end, we're trying to get to this value here squared. Then plus, right, with our y. Oops, sorry, my pen. There we go. With y and x here squared is equal to, and then notice here that gives us 47 from 10 plus 1 plus 36. So basically now we're going back to like our factoring, right? What two numbers factors will multiply to get us 1 and add to get us 2? Well, 1 and 1, right? This is x plus 1 times itself, x plus 1, which means then we can write it as x plus 1 to the second power. So then here, what factors multiply to get 36, add to get us 12? 6 and 6. So here, instead of writing out, right, y plus 6 times itself, that is the same as y plus 6. So notice here, we've completed our square, and now we can identify. The center here is -1, -6. Our radius here is radical 47. Our diameter is 2 times radical 47. So here, we're going to do another. But now notice to organize here, see how we have -12? We need constants over, so left side is variable, right side is constant. So we're going to go ahead and add 12 first here. So now we can start our organization. Now notice it's just x squared, so that's nice. It's going to be just x squared by itself. then plus. Now let's group. Y squared plus 4y. Leave your space here, right, to complete the square, is equal to 12. So now here we go, right? Remember, to complete the square, we take our b, which is 4. We're going to half it and square it. So half of 4 is 2. 2 squared is 4. Don't forget, right, what we add here, add to the other side as well. So now here we go. We've got x squared plus. Now remember, right, we're trying to complete the square. So what numbers here? Factors, multiply to get us 4, add to get us 4. 2 and 2. So y plus 2 squared is equal to 16. Now we can identify. Our center here is 0, -2. Our radius is 4, right? Because remember, this is in the form of r squared. So 4 squared is 16. That means the diameter is 8. Let's go ahead and let's do one more. All right, here we go. So what do you notice here? What do we have to do first? Subtract the 20, right? If it's already being added, don't add it, right? Subtract. So to move this over so we can organize, we've got x squared minus 4x, leave your blank to complete the square here, plus y squared plus 10y, leave space here, is equal to -20. So now let's go through and let's complete the square, right? So half of -4 is -2. -2 squared is +4. So again, we're going to add 4. Then here, half of 10 is 5. 5 squared is 25. So add 25 here. Now let's go ahead and complete our square, right? So remember, in the end, we're trying to get to our standard form of our circle equation. And now notice this is -20 plus 29, which is, there goes my pen again, sorry, equals 9. So now let's go through and complete the square. So what factors multiply to get us 4, but add to get us -4? -2 and -2. So watch your signs here. Then factors that multiply to get us 25, add to get us 10. 5 and 5, so y plus 5. So now here we go. Our center here is 2, -5. The radius is 3. Diameter is 6. So in order to remember, right, double your radius. So here, pause the video and try these 2 U-tries on your own. And here we go. So here you should have organized, right? So this is, whoop, there we go. So we've got x squared, oops, oh my goodness gracious, not plus, minus 6x, then space here to complete the square, then plus y squared plus 8y is equal to 0. Then when you completed the square, half is -3, -3 squared is +9. Half is 4, 4 squared is 16. So here you should have x squared, right? Then y squared, we're going to complete the squared here, is now equal to no longer 0, but 25. That means here you should have x minus 3 squared, -3 and -3. Add to get -6, multiply to get +9, and y plus 4 squared. So 4 and 4 give you 8. 4 times 4 is 16. So then the center here is 3, -4 with a radius of 5, and the diameter is 10. So then here, when you organized, you had to subtract 28 here because it was already being added. So then organizing, I've got x squared minus 20x, then plus y squared plus 14y is equal to -28. So then here, when you complete the square, half is -10, -10 squared is +100. Then here, Half of 14 is 7. 7 squared is 49. That's what we add here. So that means when you complete the square, you should have x minus 10 squared, negative 10 and negative 10. Then plus y plus 7 squared, 7 and 7, is equal to 121. So that means here the center is 10, negative 7 with a radius of 11. Oh, there goes my pen. My pen, sorry guys, keeps going in and out. With a diameter of 22. So now here, notice before when we had the x squared, y squared, the coefficient is 1. But what if now it's not? So this is a little different. We're still going to go through and organize. So like notice here, we need to subtract 3 from both sides. So now we're going to organize here. I've got 3x squared plus 12x, and plus 3y squared minus 6y is equal to negative 3. Now here, we cannot complete the square because of the leading coefficient of 3. But notice it's a GCF. I can divide by 3. I can divide and factor out 3. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to factor out our GCF here of 3. Now notice, right, 3 divided by 3 is just x squared. But now plus 4x, leaving our blank here, plus 3 times, now just y squared, right? 3 divided by 3 is 1, minus 2y is equal to negative 3. But now, keep in mind, when we complete the square, this is going to be a little different because now we've got a GCF of 3. Remember, this is not just x squared plus 4x. We're technically multiplying and distributing 3 here. So we're still going to go through our completing the square and take our b term. We're going to half it. So here is 2. 2 squared is 4. But now here's the key. We're not going to add 4 because remember, this is being multiplied by 3. So this actually represents a value of 12. So we're going to add 12 to both sides. So now we have to consider the GCF. So then here, we're going to half negative 2, which is negative 1. Negative 1 squared is positive 1, but we're not going to add 1. Remember, right, we've got a GCF here. So 3 times 1 is 3. So now we've got 3, then times. So now let's go ahead and complete our square. So this is, so what factor multiplies to get 2, adds to get 4? 2. X plus 2 squared, then plus 3 times. So here we're going to get negative 1, right? Remember your sign here. So then squared is equal to 12. So here, 15 minus 3 is 12. But remember, the standard form of our circle equation is just x and just y. We're not multiplying by a value. So that means here, we're now going to divide by 3. Everything here by 3. Because now 3 divided by 3 is 1. So x plus 2 squared plus y minus 1 squared is now equal to 4. Now we can find our center and radius. So the center here is negative 2, 1 with a radius of 2. So here, let's do this one. Let's organize it first. So what do we have to do? Add 16. So here I've got 8x squared plus 16x. Then plus 8y squared minus 32y. Oh, there goes my pen, is equal to 16. Now, notice, right, we can't factor, so what are we going to do? We're going to take out a GCF, factor out a GCF of 8. So now here I've got 8 times x squared plus 2x. then plus 8 times y squared minus 4y is equal to 16. So now here we go. We're going to half it, square it. Half of 2 is 1. 1 squared is 1. But don't add 1, add 8. Then here, half of negative 4 is negative 2. Negative 2 squared is 4. But don't add 4, add 32. So now here we've got 8 times x plus 1 squared from completing the square. So then here, how are we going to complete our square here for y? Y minus 2 squared is now equal to 56. But then remember, right, because of our value of 8, we're going to now divide everything by 8. So now this is x plus 1 squared plus y minus 2 squared is equal to 7. So now our center here is negative 1, 2, and our radius is radical 7. So here, pause the video and try the U-try on your own. And here we go. So when you organize, you should have subtracted 14 from both sides. So now I've got 6x squared minus 24x, then plus 6y squared plus 48y is equal to negative 14. But before we get started, right, what was the GCF? What did you have to divide by? By 6. So that means here I've got 6 and then x squared minus 4x, then plus 6 times y squared plus 8y is equal to negative 14. So then here, when you complete the square, you should get positive 4, negative 2 squared. But then don't add 4. What were you supposed to add? 24 from 6 times 4. So then here, when you complete the square, you should get 16, 4 squared. But then don't add 16. You were supposed to add 96 from 16 times 6. So now here, when I rewrite this, I've got 6, then x minus 2 squared plus 6 times y plus 4 squared is equal to 106. Then remember, right, we can't have this value of 6 here for standard form. So now divide by 6. Here we've got x minus 2 squared plus y plus 4 squared is equal to 17. So that means here, and so here, sorry about that, I just realized, not 106, sorry, that is 102, there we go. And when you divide, you get 17. So that means here, your center is 2, negative 4, with a radius of radical 17.